Hi, this is Anna here at ArtReach, and I'm going to tell you about another artist that I enjoy, whose work I think is a little bit relevant to our situations right now and working from home. So this is a photograph of Georgia O'Keeffe. Georgia O'Keeffe was born in 1887, not too far from here in Wisconsin. She grew up on her family's farm there and started doing drawing and painting from the time that she was pretty young. But most of what she painted and drew were plants and her environment. What's special about Georgia O'Keeffe is that she really focused on details. So here's a painting of hers. You can see she really, and this painting is quite large. It was 18 by 22 inches. So like this big compared to me right now. Of a flower that in real life is about this big. So she kind of was almost like a magnifying glass. She looked really up close at these flowers. She also was interested in animal bones that she would find in the desert. So this is another kind of famous painting of hers. She did this painting of a seashell. So it's a pretty small thing, right? But when she painted it, she made it over 2 feet wide and almost 2 feet tall. She really blew it up. So she really focused on those tiny little details. Sometimes she painted things that weren't objects at all. This she titled Blue and Green Music. She's kind of famous for a quote saying that she could say things with shapes and colors that she could never say with words. So she did a lot of interesting paintings like that. Sometimes she did paintings of her environment, like when she lived in New York City. She did some paintings there. But mostly what she's the most famous for are those really close-up pictures, or paintings, I should say, of flowers. So here is my art challenge to you, inspired by Georgia O'Keeffe. I want you to get the biggest sheet of paper you can. So if that's just a sheet of printer paper or notebook paper, that's fine. But if you've got bigger paper, go with that, okay? And then I want you to find something kind of small that you can really take a close look at. So it might be, this is a fake flower that usually lives in my office. It could be something like a fake flower. It could be a real flower. It could be a seashell from a time that you went to the beach or somebody brought you back from the beach. It could be a piece of jewelry or something else that you really like that's little, that you can really look at all the details. And then I want you to take that and make it like 10 times bigger, okay? So if I draw that on here, so you can use a pencil. I'm gonna use a marker so that it shows up a little bit better. But if I look at my flower and I'm gonna make it bigger, I'm gonna draw the center part of my flower, and I'm really gonna look at all those little kind of hairs that are on the center of my flower. I'm gonna really pay attention to all those little petals and the big petals that come off of it. And I'm gonna extend my drawing. I'm only doing a little section right now. But I'm going to extend my drawing all the way out to the edge of the page. I'm going to fill that whole page all the way out to the very edge with the drawing of my flower or my seashell, whatever it is. Because remember, Georgia O'Keeffe, she went all the way out to the edges of those paintings. The flowers or the seashell kind of extended off the edges of the paper. So whatever object it is that you're drawing, I want you to make it big. So like 5, 6, 10 times bigger than the actual thing that you're looking at. And then whatever you have to color it, so Georgia O'Keeffe used a lot of color. Remember, if we look at things like, this is a famous painting of hers. Back to that blue and green music, the white shell with red. She used really bold, intense colors. This petunia. So when you see the hanging flower baskets in Red Wing, a lot of the flowers that are in there are petunias. You know how they're about this big. This is huge compared to that. So see what you can find that you can draw a really large close-up picture of. Imagine yourself as a tiny little bug and you're seeing that huge flower from that itty-bitty little perspective. How big would that flower look if you were a tiny little bug? So let's do our drawings of big, dramatic flowers with big, dramatic colors, right? And let me see what you got. All right, happy creating.